On May 18, 2021, French football was shaken by a piece of news that was never expected to arrive. Didier Deschamps had done the unthinkable by including Karim Benzema in the list of 26 players who'll represent France at the Euros. This was perhaps the biggest surprising news in recent French football history, except of course the one time when a certain Nabil Fekir decided to leave Olympique Lyonnais for a side that's unlikely to play in the Champions League. But we're not talking about that. Not today anyway. What we really need to discuss is the improbable return of Karim Benzema to the French national side. But before we begin, how about you all go ahead and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so that you never have to miss out on all the good things that we like to talk about. Time in absentia ends. After an exile that spanned nearly half a decade, Karim Benzema, against all expectations, got the call from Didier Deschamps. The way his international career has unravelled in recent years, the Real Madrid ace might have expected the worst when the former World Cup winner called him. As it turns out, the manager decided to issue a pardon for a striker who'd become sort of a persona non grata in France. He might be loved in Spain, but in France, he's got a lot to make up for. In his first game for the national team, the Real Madrid man didn't score and he missed a penalty, but he displayed great technical and collective promise in a display that boded well for him, his fans and his teammates. France defeated Wales 3-0 with minimal fuss, but the 33-year-old taking the field after more than 5 years was quite a sight to behold. Normally, a player returning from exile will show signs of rustiness and their chemistry with teammates might be a little bit off. But the manner in which he combined with Antoine Griezmann and Kylian Mbappe made us think that he was never away from Les Bleus. While a lot of fans might have had their reservations, Benzema's return was a positive one. He might have missed from the spot, but Deschamps didn't take him out of the equation. Benzema's return also made it clear that for the Euro 2020 campaign, the France manager wanted something more from his main striker. During the triumphant 2018 World Cup run, Olivier Giroud's work ethic was appreciated. However, the Chelsea man didn't score a single goal. This time around, Deschamps wanted to try something different, meaning he wanted a proven striker up ahead. Benzema had an exceptional season at Real Madrid despite the Spanish giant's struggles. He scored some amazing goals and these displays could no longer be ignored. A symbolic return? France is a diverse culture to say the least. People from different ethnic groups contribute to the nation's future, and football is no different. Immigrants from Africa have played a major role in France's success in recent decades, and Benzema is a part of that. His mistakes might not have been forgotten elsewhere, but in France, allowing him a route back to the national side is as symbolic a decision as it is sporting. A lot of people in France have been demanding Benzema's return for years. Deschamps actually had a lot of issues to deal with at that time. Karim Benzema's highly publicised scandal involving former teammate Mathieu Valbuena was fresh, and he had his own bad boy image. In the midst of it all, Deschamps was supposed to announce the France squad for Euro 2016. When he did, the squad did not have Benzema or Hatem Ben Arfa in it. Eric Cantona, the Manchester United and France legend, actually accused the French manager of racism for not taking the two men due to their North African origins. When asked about Cantona's statements, Benzema disagreed that the former Juventus man was racist, but did say that the manager caved in under pressure from a racist part of France. The Real Madrid striker felt that not selecting him and Ben Arfa was more of a collective decision, but even then, Benzema maintained that the decision was unfair. Did Valbuena lie? So, this is how the entire situation unfolded. Mathieu Valbuena's tape leaked and he was extorted by some individuals. Karim Benzema reached out to his fellow countrymen along with former France international Djibril Cissé. One of the extorters, Karim Zenati, was asked to contact Benzema so that he could speak to Valbuena. The Madrid striker was then taken into custody for being complicit in attempted blackmail. In an interview with Le Monde, Valbuena implicated Benzema, but the statements never had enough clarity. Regardless, the French Football Federation president, Noël Le Graët, excluded Benzema from the national side until the situation changed. Eventually, the court ruled in Benzema's favour. To this day, Benzema has said that Valbuena hid certain parts of his story and didn't say the complete truth. The striker says that he really wanted to help the former Marseille midfielder, but Valbuena was the one who turned on him. At the end of the day, Karim Benzema's fantastic form for Real Madrid became too hard to ignore. Why now? Maybe the threat of being drawn in a tough group alongside Portugal and Germany twisted Deschamps' arm, or maybe the striker's form was simply too good to ignore. The selection must have created quite a tactical issue for the manager. How do you integrate yet another world-class striker into a World Cup winning side? However, it takes no genius to understand why Benzema deserved a return. In the last 6 years, where he's never represented Les Bleus, the veteran striker has transformed his game to another dimension. He's turned from a regular forward to someone who facilitates his teammates and creates goals for others. Not many strikers out there are good at doing that. What more? The Frenchman has withstood the test of time. In a Madrid squad where the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale were supposed to do most of the goal scoring, Benzema was always seen as an afterthought. But with Ronaldo gone, Eden Hazard struggling for form and fitness, and Bale struggling and then being sent out on loan, the onus fell on Benzema's shoulders to take care of finding the back of the net more regularly. In each of the last seasons, he's been Real's top scorer. Zinedine Zidane's tactical tweak during his second spell in charge coincided with Benzema's great form. He likes to be involved in build-up play, averages roughly 40 passes per 90 minutes, and is something of a creative force. Moreover, his intelligent runs in advanced areas of the pitch make it easy for him to be in positions that allow him to score more often. Unlike Ronaldo and Bale, Madrid's current wide players aren't that prolific. In recent years, Benzema's finishing has improved a lot. According to Wyscout and Instat, Benzema has overperformed on his expected goals tally. All this and more maturity in his displays, and it became really difficult for Deschamps to keep the player confined to watching the national side from his couch. Better than Giroud. Without dissing the Chelsea man, Benzema is a clear upgrade. He can fulfill the former Arsenal man's role while scoring more often. During that win over Wales, Benzema was a key man in their build-up play. It was the same case in the game against Germany, where he was always in the thick of things and could have scored a memorable goal as well had it not been flagged offside. Today, the manager sees Benzema as the difference maker. The French coach has even changed his formation to accommodate the veteran striker. It was a common sight in the 1-0 win over Germany. Benzema dropping deep to receive passes or looking to make runs into pockets of space. While Giroud does offer a lot of things up front, the veteran striker can't create chances like Benzema, which is why the latter is likely to start the remaining group games ahead of him. The game against Germany was a perfect example of what Benzema brings to the team. France took the lead through a Mats Hummels' own goal midway through the first half, and though it didn't seem particularly hurried to double it, it never looked like relinquishing it. When Germany did briefly wrest the upper hand, the French seemed happy enough. Deschamps' team sank back to its own half, then to its own penalty area, and repelled everything that came its way. And when the Germans had run out of steam, when they'd blown themselves out, the French cleared the sweat from their brow and took control once again. France had a goal. A second might have been nice. Rabiot hit the post, Mbappe had one ruled out for offside, Benzema did too, but it was not strictly necessary. A short-term future with France. After a 6-year exile, Benzema has finally returned to the national team setup. At the age of 33, this could be his last chance to win something for the national side. It must have hurt him like anything, seeing his teammates lift the World Cup 3 years ago. At present, France look like world beaters, and they might end up going all the way. However, in order for that to happen, they need to be really on top of their game. Deschamps' tactical tweaks have shown that he really wants Benzema to do well. But at the end of the day, it'll come down to the willingness of the rest of his teammates to create chances for him. Nonetheless, you have to say that the French management has done well to not allow itself to be overawed by the return of a player who carried a bad boy image for a number of years. Of course, those things might never go away, but as long as Benzema continues to fight for the team's cause just like he did against Germany, his past indiscretions will slowly become less talked about. This France team is definitely a rare blend of squad depth and talent. It'll be a real shame if past issues end up ruining the team's atmosphere, and you can bet that Deschamps is not going to let anything happen to what seems to be a largely unified camp.